Let's hear from the coach. This is Behind the Beard with Bobby Smirniotis, Forge FC head coach and sporting director. Now, the woman who takes us there, here's Mackenzie Barwell on the Forge Audio Network.
Look at that. But,
by the way, coach, this is Dan. He's our video intern for the year.
How's it going, Dan? You good? They treating you well?
Yeah, pretty good.
Well enough, huh? Well enough. So, Dan, this is our podcast.
This is our podcast.
This is how we podcast. We're podcasting right now.
Where Bobby forgets that we have an episode, and then I ambush you on your way out of the office.
Isn't that what I said last week? Something about having a podcast? And you told me this is a podcast?
Yeah. Listen, I don't think that could have been more perfect. You are quite literally walking out of your office, suitcase in hand. Like, it was one of the rolly ones, too. That, like, are going all fours.
It's the way to do it. It's comfortable. Right?
You just look at me and freeze. You're like, oh.
No stress on the lower back. Just stress when I saw you and realized we got a podcast to do.
We got some filming to do.
Yes.
Okay, how was practice this morning in the wind? It was a bit ridiculous when I came into the stadium.
It's quite something out there.
Yeah.
Yesterday was beautiful.
I know.
Yesterday was phenomenal. And yeah, as I said, somebody opened the windows up top there on the mountain and forgot to shut them.
Did you think you caught a tan yesterday? Maybe.
What do you think?
I feel like, you look a little darker.
I think the dome got some color.
The dome got some color. It was deceivingly, I feel like the UV was deceivingly strong.
To be honest, it was quite okay for me because I was wearing a sweater.
You were, I noticed that.
But I wasn't in the dugout, so I never really sit in the dugout on the bench. And then at halftime, I realized most of the guys went from pants to shorts.
To
short sleeve. So it got a little bit warmer when you're in the dugout.
True. Okay, well, listen, I know you got to get home, so let's...
That's okay, I got a cappuccino.
He's got his cappuccino in hand. So here's what's going to happen today. Obviously, we're in between what was the quarterfinal of the Canadian Championship against CF Montreal, and now facing off against Pacific for the first time of the 2024 season, which I'll get to in a second, but I do want to debrief that matchup against CF Montreal because... You mentioned in the press conference that overall you were happy with the team's performance and you felt like Forge played with quality, but when it comes down to it, you can't beat an opponent like that playing the same way for 90 minutes. And I was curious to ask whether you could go more in detail about that and how that would have influenced or contributed to a 1-1 draw yesterday.
Yeah, I think we're generally happy with the performance, but not happy with the result. I think, we deserved a little bit more out of it, and that's not to say Montreal wasn't a good team on the pitch, but I thought in the first 45 minutes were excellent. The game kind of changed over with both sides taking a little bit in the second half. But when you look at the high quality opportunities we created, I thought they were there for us. And it was a little bit of a missed opportunity. The goal against comes from something we traditionally don't do in the pitch. And but those are the fine margins of these games. The positive side is you know exactly what you need to do in the next game. Go in there and you take the positives from this one. But in a game like this, they're used to playing at a higher tempo each and every week. So that's something we have to manage in the game. And our first 45 minutes were really good, and our energy levels were good. You have to manage that in the second half as well. You can't go at the same pace. We know traditionally these games require anything from 15 to 30% more physical output than our regular CPL games. So that's also something to take into consideration. So it's about balancing that a little bit in the second half. And overall, I think the guys did a very good job at that.
You talk about the energy being high, specifically in the first 45 minutes. How much do you think the crowd played into that? Because over 14.5 fans there. And were you shocked at any point at how much energy they brought and how engaged they were?
Just so we work with math a little bit here.
Okay,
Mackenzie.
of course. Okay.
There was a few more than 14.5 people in the stands.
What was the
14,500.
What did I... Oh, my God.
I just had to touch on that. It was a numbers thing.
Did I not drop 1,000 in there as well?
No. So
14. There were approximately 14 to 15 fans.
Yeah. If they were that loud, they'd be excellent. 14 to 15 fans. No, it was fantastic. Yeah. It was excellent. I walked away, and to be honest, I was reflecting today, and I'm like, that'd be an excellent environment to have each game. Mm-hmm. It was loud, it was busy, and you can feel that the team grew off of that. The team pulled energy from that, and that's the importance of your supporters and your fans. And yesterday was unique. as this school day match, and I know everyone had different thoughts about it, but you know, I was all for it right from the beginning. You know, these kids were there, they were engaged, they weren't students, they were supporters. And I think that's, in the end too, what was a pleasant surprise, because that's what you don't know what it'll look like. The environment will look great, the stands are full, but these kids were fully behind the team, supporting, making it loud out there, and I think it made for, you know, an excellent match to be even better. They were,
and I resonated with what you said in the press conference when you mentioned they're not kids, they're fans, because they may as well have been, they could have easily have been, I don't know, 25, 40, let alone 14, so.
Oh, they did a great job. We got to get him here every game.
Every game, yeah. Did you see the Lego characters that the content team made?
I did not. I caught some pictures of them on some social. Some of the staff showed me, but I heard they did a starting 11 before the game.
Yes, and they did you too.
No, they didn't.
And they did me.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
See, there was apparently there was a bet. Jassim was waiting to see me on the board, but they said they didn't see me.
I don't know if I saw you on the board either. I don't know if I saw myself.
But there is a Lego character of me.
Yes.
We need to get that.
I brought my phone. Wait, let me show you. I was thrilled because I didn't think I was getting one.
Are these in the rules of podcasting? That
yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
You don't even listen to podcasts. Here.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely.
I'll insert it.
But where's the two-tone beard?
Right. There's no fade.
No.
It's all one block color. Pretty accurate, though.
Where's yours? There we go.
Pretty good, right?
Not bad at all.
And I got a jersey and everything.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Those were a hit. Wow, it was phenomenal. I found a lot of the fans enjoyed that. So just had to make sure you saw that. Okay. As you mentioned a few minutes ago, because this is a two-legged affair, the first round is typically a little bit more free, and you said that you can really just go out and play. In the second round, more tactical or a little bit more calculated tactically. And now we know when the second leg is, I believe May 22nd. What are some of the challenges that come with playing at Stade Saputo, and especially in a situation like this where you have to score away goals?
Yeah, you go into every game to score a goal. The mentality of this team is always to go in and win a game. So, unfortunately, to win, you have to score.
Yeah.
You have to score.
Always have to score.
You always have to score. So, guess what? We got to score in this one. So, that doesn't change from there. But, you know the fine margins. You know, looking at this first game, the one thing you don't want is to be scored on. You don't want that away goal for an opponent. You know, I think we're one of the only confederations here in CONCACAF that still count away goals. In the rest of the world, those have gone away. But, you know, going into there, is it a difficult place to play? I think it's an enjoyable place to play, to be honest. I think it's a great it's not small stadium, but a stadium with a very good environment, passionate fans, excellent surface. So on the flip side, if you ask me, and if I was a player, I'd want to play there against whoever. You know, those are the games you want to be part of and you want to play in. So we got to look at those positives, take the positives from this game, and go in there with a game plan to try and advance and go into the next round.
Looking ahead to Pacific this weekend, I just spoke to Eddie, and he provided an interesting perspective, especially as once a player making that transition from a Canadian Championship match against an MLS opponent, now back to the regular season and attempting to maintain the momentum that you've already developed. And he made sure to give you your flowers and said out of all the managers he's had, he really appreciates the approach that you have in terms of flipping that switch and really focusing on what's next. So how do you go about coaching players through a week like this one?
Yeah, this one is a quick turnaround with travel, different things. So we basically have 2 sessions to prepare. Today is a recovery day for the guys. The guys who didn't play a lot got a good workout in on the field. So that's it. This game is done. You know, we finished that talk yesterday, right after the match, and speaking about what we needed to do. You know, it's not a game that we're gonna debrief and go over 2 days after the game. So it's done. And what we talked about yesterday is once I let them know my thoughts on the game was, here we go. We got a game for first place to stay at the top of the table on Saturday against Pacific, and that's it. Off goes Montreal, and here we go Pacific. So, I mean, it's simple. It's something we do all the time. I believe in. Same thing with the staff. We came in after. We said a couple of things about the game, and immediately said, pull up everything that we have on Pacific. because we were going into a quick turnaround with this game too and put some focus into Montreal. We try not to, plan ahead. It's something that I also don't like to do a lot. So yesterday, right after the game, staff literally turned the switch to Pacific, and the same message is given to the guys.
So we're filming this early, just as an FYI, because you do travel tomorrow. You'll be sitting in the aisle seat.
Correct.
Never even a consideration at this point, eh?
What?
Always the aisle seat.
Consideration for what?
Like, would you ever consider the window?
No. It's
Sorry.
the aisle, or we
Or
don't get on the
nothing.
plane.
We're not on the plane. Okay. Now listen, I know you're not necessarily, sightseeing on an away trip here, but you are going to Victoria, BC, which is
Yes.
nice. And in looking at that, I was like, oh, I'm curious to know what stadium or CPL city that you enjoy most traveling to.
There's a nice cafe about 10 minutes walk from our hotel out in Pacific, so it's always something to look forward to. I like my
another cappuccino.
good cappuccino or macchiato in the morning. So we've got a good place there. Nice 10-minute walk, fresh air.
Fantastic.
Get a coffee, sit outside. Hopefully it's sunny. And
That
then,
5 a.m. air.
Yes.
Breathe it in.
And then back to the hotel. There's no sightseeing.
No, I know, but even going to the coffee shop, surely there's a mountain or something you could look at.
Yeah, there is. There is. The coffee is good.
Coffee's good. Oh. Now, we know that Pacific has proven to be a strong and consistent force in the CPL. So just briefly, what is it about their team that has posed challenges to Forge in the past?
Yeah, I mean, they have a strong identity on how they want to play and how they want to do things. I think, traditionally we've matched up very well against them. And if you look at the overall record and history, it's quite in our favor. But, this is a new year. This is a little bit of a different team that they have and a little bit of a different look. They're much more resolute and resilient in their defending. Not as expansive in the way they attack and commit players forward. So maybe there's a little bit of a shift in how they're doing things. And we're going to see a Pacific team that's a little bit different. At least up until today, they've played a lot of their games at home. It's a smaller field. It's a smallish field in the CPL, and that plays its role in football games as well. So I think they've realized to be a good team, you obviously need to win a lot of games at home, and maybe taking advantage of that by being a little bit more defensively resilient at home makes it difficult for the opponents, and that's what's been shown so far to date.
Yeah, it looks like they've done well thus far, and I want to circle back once more to the Canadian Championship because I forgot to bring this up, but they face off against Ottawa tonight and then TFC to face League One side St. Laurent. Being a League One side and having eliminated the Halifax Wanderers in the preliminary round, what do you think that says about the quality of Canadian soccer and the importance of the Canadian Championship for bringing teams together from different leagues to compete with one another?
Well, the beauty about cup competition is what I always say: it's 90 minutes of football, and anything can happen on any given day, and it happens around the world. I think maybe we'll see one day, maybe it's next year, maybe it's 5 years from now, but an expanded tournament with more teams in it, and I think it creates a lot of great opportunities, storylines, and visibility across the country, and all the good work that's being done in the League One, Ontario, Quebec, and BC. For now, and we hope that keeps on expanding because there's a lot of good players in this country. There's a lot of good people doing good things in these clubs, and this is football. Everything's going to happen once. I always say whatever we think can happen will always happen. It's just a matter of it's today, it's tomorrow, or it's 5 years from now.
It's the football gods working their magic. So Saturday Pacific, Sunday Mother's Day. How are you getting back for a brunch? How does that work? A red eye, is that what it is?
Red eye. I've got to get back.
Gosh. Yikes.
You ever fly on the red eyes?
I've done it once or twice.
Yeah,
not my
don't you
fave.
feel great when you get
So
back at
good.
7 in the morning?
You'll be whipping up some pancakes Sunday morning.
That's exactly what's going on. Hit a jog,
Oh,
walk on the lake,
Please.
do a little bit of it all. They're terrible. They hurt your day. Somebody's searching for me.
Somebody expected you home about 20 minutes ago, and now you have to tell them you've been
We're just
filming.
going to see how long that can ring for. We do that awkward moment on what's one of these shows where they just go silent for a while.
Okay. Let's wrap it up, Bobby. Thank you for staying in your office for an extra 20.
Do I have time to pick that up?
You want to pick it up?
No.
Who's on?
Cheers, everyone.
Until next week.
This This has been Behind the Beard with Mackenzie Barwell and Bobby Smirniotis. If you like what you heard, please like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share.